In this video tutorial, I'll cover how to adjust the page setup properties for a proposal page so that it looks right when printed out. Before watching this video tutorial, we recommend that you watch the Proposal Workbook Overview video tutorial. To do so, click on the Proposal Workbook Overview tutorial link at the bottom of this video screen. This tutorial will address two common page formatting issues. The page's header doesn't fit the header content you'd like it to include, and the OnGrid tool cancels the printing process. And the content for a page runs onto a second page when printed. You might be wondering why it's sometimes necessary to make page formatting adjustments. One thing to keep in mind is that Microsoft Excel works with your printer driver to create a print preview of a proposal. And every printer driver will interpret the proposal page's layout a little differently. So even if a default proposal looks good on one of your colleagues' computers, you might need a little adjusting before it looks right on your computer. Fortunately, once you've made any necessary adjustments for your computer, you won't need to make those adjustments again, since they're saved into your Proposal Workbook copy. Let's consider the first issue. The page's header doesn't fit the header content. I want to look at a print preview of a proposal where this is an issue. To do this, I'll click the Print Proposal link in cell E10 on the OnGrid tool's input sheet. Then, in the print form, I'll select the problematic proposal, Custom 1. I created a custom header to use with this proposal. The custom header has 4 lines of text with my name and main contact information. I'll click the Print Preview button in the form's upper left corner to get a print preview. The print preview was cancelled because the 4 lines of text in my header don't fit into the available header space in one or more of the proposal pages. I see in the message box that the top margin must be at least 1.38 inches to fit my custom header. I also see that the sheet I need to adjust is called Short. I'll now open the Proposal Workbook to make this adjustment. To do that, I'll first go to the OnGrid tool's Settings and Support sheet. Then, in the Proposal Workbook section, I'll click the name of my Proposal Workbook to open it. I'm now in the Proposal Workbook. Before I go to the Short worksheet, I want to make sure the Proposal Workbook's PageMaker feature is turned on. I know it's on because it says PageMaker is on in row 11 on the Proposal Workbook's Settings and Support sheet. Using the PageMaker, I can see a print preview of my proposal page from within the Proposal Workbook, so I can quickly troubleshoot my page setup issues. I'll go to the Short worksheet to make the necessary margin adjustment. Through the Print Preview window, I can quickly access the page setup properties for all pages on this sheet. To access the Print Preview window, I can double-click on any cell within a page's blue border. I'll do this now. I'll now click on Page Setup in the Print Preview window's upper left corner. In the dialog box that pops up, I'll select the Margins tab. The margins are set in inches. The top margin determines how much white space is between the top of the page and the start of the page's content. So on the page currently being previewed, I know that the distance above the Solar Electric Investment title is 1.3 inches. It's the same logic for the left margin. The white space to the left of the page is 1/4 inch wide, and the bottom margin, 1.1 inches, and the right margin, 1/4 inch. Notice that there's also a setting for the header. Unlike the page's main content, the header is applied during the print preview process. The header setting determines how far the header information will appear from the top of the page. Currently, there's 1/2 inch between the top of the page and the first line in the header. And by subtracting the top margin from the header margin, I know the height of the space currently available for the header is 0.8 inches. Recall the print cancellation message back in the OnGrid tool. It said that in order to fit in 4 lines of text at the font size specified in the OnGrid tool, the top margin on this worksheet needs to be at least 1.38 inches. Otherwise, there isn't enough space for the header and it would overlap the page's main content. Currently, the top margin is 1.3 inches. By entering 1.38 for the top margin, I'm increasing the header space's height by 0.08 inches. I'll enter 1.38 now. I'll click OK to close the Page Setup dialog box, and I'll close the Print Preview window. Note that increasing the top margin might cause the page's content to no longer fit on a single page. The next segment of this video tutorial will address that issue. I now want to try printing the proposal again in the OnGrid tool to confirm that the issue has been fixed. I need to be sure to save the Proposal Workbook before closing it, or else my changes will be lost. To save it, I'll click File in the Excel menu, and then click Save. Then I'll close the Proposal Workbook by clicking File, followed by Close. Back in the OnGrid tool, I'll go back to the Input sheet and click Print Proposal in row 10 to access the print form. Then I'll select the Custom 1 proposal and click the Print Preview button. After adjusting the top margin of the short worksheet, I no longer get the print cancellation message when creating a print preview of the Custom 1 proposal in the OnGrid tool. In one of my proposal templates, a page's content runs onto a second page. I'll show you what I mean in the Print Preview window. I'll click Print Proposal, and then select the problematic proposal template. Then I'll click Print Preview. The issue is with the proposal template's second page. I'll go to it now by clicking Next Page at the top of the window. If I click Next Page again, I see a page that's blank apart from the last 2 lines of text from the previous proposal page. I need to adjust the page setup properties for the Proposal Workbook sheet containing this page so that these 2 lines no longer run over to a second page. I'll reopen the Proposal Workbook by clicking the Proposal Workbook's name on the Settings and Support sheet. I know from the OnGrid tool's template form that the problematic page is on the Medium sheet. The proposal page was originally part of the Medium 2 proposal, which I can go to quickly by clicking the Medium 2 link in the worksheet's upper left corner. I'll then scroll to the second page. I'll double-click on a cell within the page's blue border to get a print preview. As with the print preview in the OnGrid tool, I see that the page's content has run onto a second page. There are several ways to fix this. One way is to decrease the page's margins so more spreadsheet-based content will fit on the page. But I want to avoid this approach since reducing the margin size might cause the header or footer to no longer fit in the header or footer space. Another option is to reduce the page's scaling. To do this, I'll select Page Setup. Notice that the scaling is currently 58%. I'll decrease it until the content fits on one page. I'll first try 57% and click OK. I see that the Next Page button is still an option, so I need to reduce the scaling further. With the scaling at 56%, the content all fits on a single page. Note that fixing the page runoff issue by adjusting the scaling adjusts the scaling of all pages on this worksheet. So now, with the scaling reduced, the content on all of this worksheet's pages will be a little smaller and therefore a little harder to read. If this is the only page with this issue, I'd rather not alter the appearance of the other pages on this sheet. Let's consider the third and best option for making this page's content fit on a single page. First, I'll set the scaling to the original 58% and close the Print Preview window. In the worksheet, I can prevent the page's content from running to a second page by reducing the height of or deleting one or more rows that goes through the proposal page. Before making any edits to the sheet, I'll need to turn off the PageMaker. I can do this from the Proposal Workbook Settings and Support sheet, or I can press Ctrl and the letter T as in toggle on my keyboard. I'll press Ctrl and the letter T. I could easily reduce the page's height by deleting one or more of the blank rows at the top of the page. However, when I click on one of the blank cells in these rows, I see that there's content in the cells that's only visible under certain circumstances. I'd like to keep this content, so instead, I'll go through the page reducing the height of rows until it no longer runs onto a second page in the print preview window. To reduce the height of a row, I run my cursor over the bottom of the row's heading, and then, when the cursor turns into a double arrow, click and drag upward. When I drag the row's heading up, I want to make sure that I'm not making the row so narrow that its content no longer displays properly. Now that I've reduced my page's height, I want to see another print preview. I'll turn the PageMaker back on by pressing Ctrl and the letter T on my keyboard, and then I'll double-click a cell within the page's blue border. The Next Page option isn't available. I've successfully stopped the page's content from running onto a second page in the print preview window. I'll now save and close the Proposal Workbook and return to the OnGrid tool. You can override a Proposal Workbook sheet's page setup properties using the OnGrid tool's header form. So you can change how a proposal page looks without opening the Proposal Workbook. I'll open the header form by clicking the link Proposal Header Design and Review in row 85 on the OnGrid tool's Settings and Support sheet. Then, in the multi-page in the center of the form, I'll click the fourth tab called Margins. By default, the Proposal Workbook's margin settings are not overridden. If I check the box Override Sheet Margin Settings, the page settings are overridden for all pages in a proposal that use the header style currently loaded in the header form. We recommend that rather than adjusting the margin settings in the header form, you adjust the margin settings in the Proposal Workbook itself, as I did earlier in this tutorial. This way, the page formatting in the OnGrid tool's print preview will match the page formatting in the Proposal Workbook's print preview. I'm going to uncheck the box for Override Sheet Margin Settings. I'll then close the header form by clicking the Close button in the form's upper right corner. That does it for this video tutorial on adjusting page setup properties and making proposal pages look right when printed out. Thanks for watching.